What instance gives Lord Warwick for his vow? Warwick! See how the blood is settled in his face. Oft have I seen a timely parted ghost, of ashy semblance, meagre, pale, and bloodless, being all descended to the laboring heart, who, in the conflict that it holds with death, attracts the same for aidance gainst the enemy, which with the heart there cools and ne'er returneth, to blush and beautify the cheek again. But see, his face is black and full of blood, his eyeballs further out than when he lived, staring full ghastly, like a strangled man, his hair upreared, his nostrils stretched with struggling, his hands abroad displayed, as one that grasped and tugged for life and was by strength subdued. Look on the sheets, his hair you see is sticking, his well-proportioned beard made rough and rugged, like to the summer's corn by tempest lodged. It cannot be, but he was murdered here. The least of all these signs were probable. Suffolk! Why Warwick, who should do the Duke to death? Myself and Beaufort had him in protection. And we, I hope, sir, are no murderers. Warwick! But both of you were vowed Duke Humphrey's foes. And you, forsooth, had the good Duke to keep. 'Tis like you would not feast him like a friend. And 'tis well seen he found an enemy. Queen Margaret. Then you belike suspect these noblemen as guilty of Duke Humphrey's timeless death. Warwick! Who finds the heifer dead and bleeding fresh, and sees fast by a butcher with an axe, but will suspect 'twas he that made the slaughter. Who finds the partridge in the puddock's nest, but may imagine how the bird was dead, although the kite soar with unbloodied beak. Even so suspicious is this tragedy. Queen Margaret. Are you the butcher, Suffolk? Where's your knife? Is Beaufort termed a kite? Where are his talons? Suffolk. I wear no knife to slaughter sleeping men. But here's a vengeful sword, rusted with ease. That shall be scoured in his rancorous heart. That slanders me with murder's crimson badge. Say if thou darst, proud Lord of Warwickshire, that I am faulty in Duke Humphrey's death. Exeunt Cardinal, Somerset, and others. Warwick! What dares not Warwick, if false Suffolk dare him? Queen Margaret. He dares not calm his contumelious spirit, nor cease to be an arrogant controller, though Suffolk dare him 20,000 times. Warwick! Madam, be still with reverence may I say, for every word you speak in his behalf is slander to your royal dignity. Suffolk! Blunt-witted lord, ignoble in demeanor. If ever lady wronged her lord so much, thy mother took into her blameful bed some stern untutored churl, and noble stock was graft with Crabtree slip, whose fruit thou art, and never of the Nevilles, noble race. Warwick! But that the guilt of murder bucklers thee, and I should rob the deathsman of his fee, quitting thee thereby of 10,000 shames, and that my sovereign's presence makes me mild, I would, false murderous coward, on thy knee, make thee beg pardon for thy past speech, and say it was thy mother that thou meant'st, that thou thyself wast born in bastardy, and after all this fearful homage done, give thee thy hire and send thy soul to hell. Pernicious bloodsucker of sleeping men. Suffolk! Thou shalt be waking while I shed thy blood, if from this presence thou darst go with me. Warwick! Away even now, or I will drag thee hence. Unworthy though thou art, I'll cope with thee, and do some service to Duke Humphrey's ghost. Exeunt Suffolk and Warwick. King Henry! What stronger breastplate than a heart untainted? Thrice is he armed that hath his quarrel just, and he but naked, though locked up in steel, whose conscience with injustice is corrupted. Queen Margaret. What noise is this? Enter Suffolk and Warwick with their weapons drawn. King Henry. Why, how now, lords, your wrathful weapons drawn? Here in our presence, dare you be so bold? Why, what tumultuous clamor have we here? Suffolk. The traitorous Warwick, with the men of Barry, set all upon me, mighty sovereign. Enter Salisbury. Salisbury. To the Commons, entering. Sirs, stand apart, the king shall know your mind. Dread lord, the Commons send you word by me. Unless Lord Suffolk straight be done to death, or banished fair England's territories, they will by violence tear him from your palace, and torture him with grievous lingering death. They say, by him the good Duke Humphrey died. They say, in him they fear your highness' death. And mere instinct of love and loyalty, free from a stubborn opposite intent, as being thought to contradict your liking, makes them thus forward in his banishment. They say, in care of your most royal person, that if your highness should intend to sleep, and charge that no man should disturb your rest, in pain of your dislike or pain of death. Yet, notwithstanding such a strait edict, were there a serpent seen, with forked tongue, that slyly glided towards your majesty, it were but necessary you were waked, lest, being suffered in that harmful slumber, the mortal worm might make the sleep eternal. And therefore do they cry, though you forbid, that they will guard you, where you will or no, from such fell serpents as false Suffolk is, with whose envenomed and fatal sting your loving uncle, 20 times his worth, they say, is shamefully bereft of life. Commons. An answer from the king, my lord of Salisbury. Suffolk. Tease like the Commons, rude unpolished hinds, could send such message to their sovereign. But you, my lord, were glad to be employed, to show how quaint an orator you are. But all the honor Salisbury hath won is that he was the Lord Ambassador, sent from a sort of tinkers to the king. Commons. An answer from the king, or we will all break in. King Henry. Go, Salisbury, and tell them all from me. I thank them for their tender loving care. And had I not been cited so by them, yet did I purpose as they do entreat. For sure, my thoughts do hourly prophesy mischance unto my state by Suffolk's means. And therefore, by his majesty I swear, whose far unworthy deputy I am, he shall not breathe infection in this air, but 3 days longer, on the pain of death. Queen Margaret. O Henry, let me plead for gentle Suffolk. King Henry. Ungentle queen, to call him gentle Suffolk. No more, I say, if thou dost plead for him. Thou wilt but add increase unto my wrath. Had I but said, I would have kept my word. But when I swear, it is irrevocable. If after 3 days' space, thou here be'st found, on any ground that I am ruler of, the world shall not be ransom for thy life. Come, Warwick, come, good Warwick, go with me. I have great matters to impart to thee. Exeunt all but Queen and Suffolk. Queen Margaret. Mischance and sorrow go along with you. Heart's discontent and sour affliction be playfellows to keep you company. There's 2 of you, the devil make a third, and threefold vengeance tend upon your steps. Suffolk. Cease, gentle queen, these execrations, and let thy Suffolk take his heavy leave. Queen Margaret. Fie, coward woman and soft-hearted wretch. Hast thou not spirit to curse thine enemies? Suffolk. A plague upon them, wherefore should I curse them? Could curses kill, as doth the mandrake's groan, I would invent as bitter searching terms, as cursed, as harsh and horrible to hear, delivered strongly through my fixed teeth, with full as many signs of deadly hate, as lean-faced envy in her loathsome cave. My tongue should stumble in mine earnest words. Mine eyes should sparkle like the beaten flint. Mine hair be fixed on end, as one distract. Every joint should seem to curse and ban. And even now my burdened heart would break. Should I not curse them, poison be their drink. Gall worse than gall, the daintiest that they taste. Their sweetest shade a grove of cypress trees. Their chiefest prospect murdering basilisks. Their softest touch as smart as lizards' stings. Their music frightful as the serpent's hiss. And boding screech owls make the consort full. All the foul terrors in dark-seated hell. Queen Margaret. Enough, sweet Suffolk, thou torment'st thyself. And these dread curses, like the sun gainst glass, or like an overcharged gun, recoil, and turns the force of them upon thyself. Suffolk, you bade me ban, and will you bid me leave? Now, by the ground that I am banished from, well could I curse away a winter's night, though standing naked on a mountain top, where biting cold would never let grass grow, and think it but a minute spent in sport. Queen Margaret. Oh, let me entreat thee cease, give me thy hand, that I may do it with my mournful tears. Nor let the rain of heaven wet this place, to wash away my woeful monuments. Oh, could this kiss be printed in thy hand, that thou mightst think upon these by the seal, through whom 1,000 sighs are breathed for thee. So get thee gone, that I may know my grief. 'Tis but surmised whiles thou art standing by, as one that surfeits thinking on a want. I will repeal thee, or be well assured, adventure to be banished myself. And banished I am, if but from thee. Go, speak not to me, even now be gone. Oh, go not yet, even thus two friends condemned. Embrace and kiss, and take 10,000 leaves. Loather 100 times to part than die. Yet now farewell, and farewell life with thee. Suffolk. Thus is poor Suffolk 10 times banished. Once by the king, and 3 times thrice by thee. 'Tis not the land I care for, wert thou thence. A wilderness is populous enough. So Suffolk had thy heavenly company. For where thou art, there is the world itself, with every several pleasure in the world. And where thou art not, desolation. I can no more, live thou to joy thy life. Myself no joy in naught but that thou livest. Enter Vox. Queen Margaret. Whither goes Vox so fast, what news I prithee? Vox. To signify unto his majesty that Cardinal Beaufort is at point of death. For suddenly a grievous sickness took him, that makes him gasp and stare and catch the air, blaspheming God and cursing men on earth. Sometime he talks as if Duke Humphrey's ghost were by his side, sometime he calls the king, and whispers to his pillow, as to him, the secrets of his overcharged soul. And I am sent to tell his majesty that even now he cries aloud for him. Queen Margaret. Go tell this heavy message to the king. Ay me, what is this world, what news are these? But wherefore grieve I at an hour's poor loss? Omitting Suffolk's exile, my soul's treasure. Why only, Suffolk, mourn I not for thee? And with the southern clouds contend in tears. Theirs for the earth's increase, mine for my sorrows. Now get thee hence, the king thou know'st he is coming. If thou be found by me thou art but dead. Suffolk. If I depart from thee, I cannot live. And in thy sight to die, what were it else? But like a pleasant slumber in thy lap. Here could I breathe my soul into the air, as mild and gentle as the cradle babe, dying with mother's dug between its lips. Where from thy sight I should be raging mad, and cry out for thee to close up mine eyes, to have thee with thy lips to stop my mouth. So shouldst thou either turn my flying soul, or I should breathe it so into thy body, and then it lived in sweet Elysium. To die by thee were but to die in jest. From thee to die were torture more than death. Oh, let me stay, befall what may befall. Queen Margaret. Away, though parting be a fretful corrosive, it is applied to a deathful wound. To France, sweet Suffolk, let me hear from thee. For wheresoe'er thou art in this world's globe, I'll have an iris that shall find thee out. Suffolk. I go, Queen Margaret, and take my heart with thee. Suffolk. A jewel locked into the woefulst cask that ever did contain a thing of worth. Even as a splitted bark, so sunder we. This way fall I to death. Queen Margaret. This way for me. Exeunt severally. Scene 3, a bedchamber. Enter the King, Salisbury and Warwick, to the Cardinal in bed. King Henry. How fares my lord? Speak, Beaufort, to thy sovereign. Cardinals. If thou be'st he death, I'll give thee England's treasure, enough to purchase such another island. So thou wilt let me live and feel no pain. King Henry. Ah, what a sign it is of evil life, where death's approach is seen so terrible. Warwick. Beaufort, it is thy sovereign speaks to thee. Cardinals. Bring me unto my trial when you will. Died he not in his bed, where should he die? Can I make men live, where they will or no? Oh, torture me no more, I will confess. Alive again, then show me where he is. I'll give £1,000 to look upon him. He hath no eyes, the dust hath blinded them. Comb down his hair, look, look, it stands upright, like lime twigs set to catch my winged soul. Give me some drink, and bid the apothecary bring the strong poison that I bought of him. King Henry. O thou eternal mover of the heavens, look with a gentle eye upon this wretch. Oh, beat away the busy meddling fiend that lays strong siege unto this wretch's soul, and from his bosom purge this black despair. Warwick. See how the pangs of death do make him grin. Salisbury. Disturb him not, let him pass peaceably. King Henry. Peace to his soul, if God's good pleasure be. Lord Cardinal, if thou think'st ye on heaven's bliss, hold up thy hand, make signal of thy hope. He dies and makes no sign, O God, forgive him. Warwick. So bad a death argues a monstrous life. King Henry. Forbear to judge, for we are sinners all. Close up his eyes, and draw the curtain close, and let us all to meditation. Act 4. Scene 1, the coast of Kent. Alarum, fight at sea, ordnance goes off. Enter a lieutenant, Suffolk disguised a prisoner, the master, a master's mate, Walter Whitmore and prisoners. Chapter 51, Lieutenant. The gaudy, blabbing and remorseful day is crept into the bosom of the sea. And now loud howling wolves arouse the jades that drag the tragic melancholy night, who with their drowsy, slow and flagging wings clip dead men's graves, and from their misty jaws breathe foul contagious darkness in the air. Therefore bring forth the soldiers of our prize, for whilst our pinnace anchors in the downs, here shall they make their ransom on the sand, or with their blood stain this discolored shore. Master, this prisoner freely give I thee, and thou that art his mate, make boot of this. The other, Walter Whitmore, is thy share. One gentleman. What is my ransom, master? Let me know. Master. 1,000 crowns, or else lay down your head. Mate. And so much shall you give, or off goes yours. Chapter 51, Lieutenant. What, think you much to pay 2,000 crowns? And bear the name and port of gentleman. Cut both the villains' throats, for die you shall. The lives of those which we have lost in fight be counterpoised with such a petty sum. One gentleman. I'll give it, sir, and therefore spare my life. 2 gentlemen. And so will I, and write home for it straight. Whitmore. I lost mine eye in laying the prize aboard, and therefore to revenge it shalt thou die. And so should these, if I might have my will. Chapter 51, Lieutenant. Be not so rash, take ransom, let him live. Suffolk. Look on my George, I am a gentleman. Rate me at what thou wilt, thou shalt be paid. Whitmore. And so am I, my name is Walter Whitmore. How now, why starts thou, what doth death affright? Suffolk. Thy name affrights me, in whose sound is death. A cunning man did calculate my birth, and told me that by water I should die. Yet let not this make thee be bloody-minded. Thy name is Gaultier, being rightly sounded. Whitmore. Gaultier or Walter, which it is, I care not. Never yet did base dishonor blur our name. But with our sword, we wiped away the blot. Therefore, when merchant-like I sell revenge, broke be my sword, my arms torn and defaced, and I proclaimed a coward through the world. Suffolk. Stay, Whitmore, for thy prisoner is a prince. The Duke of Suffolk, William de la Pole. Whitmore. The Duke of Suffolk, muffled up in rags. Suffolk. Ay, but these rags are no part of the Duke. Jove sometime went disguised, and why not I? Chapter 51, Lieutenant. But Jove was never slain, as thou shalt be. Suffolk. Obscure and lowly swain, King Henry's blood, the honorable blood of Lancaster, must not be shed by such a jaded groom. Hast thou not kissed thy hand and held my stirrup, bareheaded plodded by my footcloth mule, and thought thee happy when I shook my head? How often hast thou waited at my cup, fed from my trencher, kneeled down at the board, when I have feasted with Queen Margaret? Remember it, and let it make thee crestfallen. I and allay thus thy abortive pride. How in our voiding lobby hast thou stood, and duly waited for my coming forth? This hand of mine hath writ in thy behalf, and therefore shall it charm thy riotous tongue. Whitmore. Speak, Captain, shall I stab the forlorn swain? Chapter 51, Lieutenant. First let my words stab him, as he hath me. Suffolk. Base slave, thy words are blunt, and so art thou. Chapter 51, Lieutenant. Convey him hence, and on our longboat's side strike off his head. Suffolk. Thou darst not, for thy own. Chapter 51, Lieutenant. Yes, Pole. Suffolk. Pole. Chapter 51, Lieutenant. Pool, Sir Pool, Lord. I cannel puddle sink whose filth and dirt troubles the silver spring where England drinks. Now will I dam up this thy yawning mouth, for swallowing the treasure of the realm. Thy lips that kissed the Queen shall sweep the ground, and thou that smiledst at good Duke Humphrey's death, against the senseless winds, shalt grin in vain. Who in contempt shall hiss at thee again? And wedded be thou to the hags of hell, for daring to affy a mighty lord, unto the daughter of a worthless king, having neither subject, wealth, nor diadem. By devilish policy art thou grown great, and like ambitious Scylla, overgorged with gobbets of thy mother's bleeding heart. By the Anjou and Maine were sold to France. The false revolting Normans through thee disdain to call us lord, and Picardy hath slain their governors, surprised our forts, and sent the ragged soldiers wounded home. The princely Warwick and the Nevilles all, whose dreadful swords were never drawn in vain, as hating thee are rising up in arms. And now the house of York, thrust from the crown by shameful murder of a guiltless king, and lofty, proud, encroaching tyranny, burns with revenging fire, whose hopeful colors advance our half-faced sun, striving to shine, under the which is writ, Invitus Nubibus. The commons here in Kent are up in arms. And to conclude, reproach and beggary is crept into the palace of our king. And all by thee, away, convey him hence. Suffolk. Oh, that I were a god, to shoot forth thunder upon these paltry, servile, abject drudges. Small things make base men proud. This villain here, being captain of a pinnace, threatens more than Bargulus, the strong Illyrian pirate. Drones suck not eagles' blood but rob beehives. It is impossible that I should die by such a lowly vassal as thyself. Thy words move rage, and not remorse in me. I go of message from the Queen to France. I charge thee waft me safely, cross the channel. Chapter 51, Lieutenant. Walter. Whitmore. Come, Suffolk, I must waft thee to thy death. Suffolk. Peen gelidus timor occupat artis. It is thee I fear. Whitmore. Thou shalt have cause to fear before I leave thee. What are ye daunted now will ye stoop? One gentleman. My gracious lord, entreat him, speak him fair. Suffolk. Suffolk's imperial tongue is stern and rough. Used to command, untaught to plead for favor. Far be it we should honor such as these. With humble suit, no rather let my head stoop to the block than these knees bow to any, save to the God of heaven and to my king. And sooner dance upon a bloody pole than stand uncovered to the vulgar groom. True nobility is exempt from fear. More can I bear than you dare execute. Chapter 51, Lieutenant. Hail him away, and let him talk no more. Suffolk. Come, soldiers, show what cruelty ye can, that this my death may never be forgot. Great men oft die by vile Bezonians. A Roman sworder and bandito slave murdered sweet Tully, Brutus, bastard. Stabbed Julius Caesar, savage islanders. Pompey the Great, and Suffolk dies by pirates. Exeunt Whitmore and others with Suffolk. Chapter 51, Lieutenant. And as for these whose ransom we have set, it is our pleasure one of them depart. Therefore come you with us, and let him go. Exeunt all but the one gentleman. Enter Whitmore with Suffolk's body and head. Whitmore. There let his head and lifeless body lie, until the Queen his mistress bury it. One gentleman. O barbarous and bloody spectacle! His body will I bear unto the king. If he revenge it not, yet will his friends. So will the Queen, that living held him dear. Exit with the body. Scene 2, Blackheath. Enter George Bevis and John Holland. Bevis. Come and get thee a sword, though made of a lath. They have been up these 2 days. Holland. They have the more need to sleep now, then. Bevis. I tell thee, Jack Cade the clothier means to dress the Commonwealth, and turn it, and set a new nap upon it. Holland. So he had need, for tease threadbare. Well, I say it was never merry world in England since gentlemen came up. Bevis. O miserable age, virtue is not regarded in handicraftsmen. Holland. The nobility think scorn to go in leather aprons. Bevis. Nay more, the king's council are no good workmen. Holland. True, and yet it is said, labor in thy vocation, which is as much to say as, let the magistrates be laboring men, and therefore should we be magistrates. Bevis. Thou hast hit it, for there's no better sign of a brave mind than a hard hand. Holland. I see them, there's best son the tanner of Wingham. Bevis. He shall have the skin of our enemies, to make dogs' leather of. Holland. And Dick the butcher. Bevis. Then is sin struck down like an ox, and iniquity's throat cut like a calf. Holland. And Smith the weaver. Bevis. Argo their thread of life is spun. Holland. Come, let's fall in with them. Drum, enter Cade, Dick the butcher, Smith the weaver, and a sawyer with infinite numbers carrying long staves. Cade. We John Cade, so termed of our supposed father. Chapter 599, K. Or rather, of stealing a cade of herrings. Cade. For our enemies shall fall before us, inspired with the spirit of putting down kings and princes. Command silence. Chapter 599, K. Silence. Cade. My father was a Mortimer. Chapter 599, K. He was an honest man and a good bricklayer. Cade. My mother a Plantagenet. Chapter 599, K. I knew her well, she was a midwife. Cade. My wife descended of the Lacys. Chapter 599, K. She was indeed a peddler's daughter, and sold many laces. Smith. But now of late, not able to travel with her furred pack, she washes bucks here at home. Cade. Therefore am I of an honorable house. Chapter 599, K. I by my faith the field is honorable, and there was he born under a hedge, for his father had never a house but the cage. Cade. Valiant I am. Smith. He must needs, for beggary is valiant. Cade. I am able to endure much. Chapter 599, K. No question of that, for I have seen him whipped 3 market days together. Cade. I fear neither sword nor fire. Smith. He need not fear the sword, for his coat is of proof. Chapter 599, K. But methinks he should stand in fear of fire, being burnt ith hand for stealing of sheep. Cade. Be brave then, for your captain is brave and vows reformation. There shall be in England 7 halfpenny loaves sold for a penny, the 3-hooped pot shall have 10 hoops, and I will make it felony to drink small beer. All the realm shall be in common, and in Cheapside shall my palfrey go to grass. And when I am king, as king I will be. Alls. God save your majesty. Cade. I thank you, good people. There shall be no money, all shall eat and drink on my score, and I will apparel them all in one livery, that they may agree like brothers and worship me their Lord. Chapter 599, K. The first thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers. Cade. Nay, that I mean to do. Is not this a lamentable thing, that of the skin of an innocent lamb should be made parchment, that parchment, being scribbled o'er, should undo a man? Some say the bee stings, but I say tease the bee's wax, for I did but seal once to a thing, and I was never mine own man since. How now, who's there? Enter some, bringing in the clerk of Chartham. Smith. The clerk of Chartham, he can write and read and cast account. Cade. Oh, monstrous. Smith. We took him setting of boys' copies. Cade. Here's a villain. Smith. H has a book in his pocket with red letters in T. Cade. Nay then, he is a conjurer. Chapter 599, K. Nay, he can make obligations and write court hand. Cade. I am sorry for T. The man is a proper man of mine honor, unless I find him guilty he shall not die. Come hither, sirrah, I must examine thee. What is thy name? Chapter 150, Irk. Emmanuel's. Chapter 599, K. They used to write it on the top of letters. 'Twill go hard with you. Cade. Let me alone. Dost thou used to write thy name, or hast thou a mark to thyself like a honest, plain-dealing man? Chapter 150, Irk. Sir, I thank God, I have been so well brought up that I can write my name. Alls. He hath confessed, away with him, he's a villain and a traitor. Cade. Away with him, I say, hang him with his pen and inkhorn about his neck. Exit 1 with the clerk. Enter Michael. Chapter 1099, Hail. Where's our general? Cade. Here I am, thou particular fellow. Chapter 1099, Hail. Fly, fly, fly. Sir Humphrey Stafford and his brother are hard by, with the king's forces. Cade. Stand, villain, stand, or I'll fell thee down. He shall be encountered with a man as good as himself. He is but a knight, is he? Chapter 1099, Hail. No. Cade. To equal him, I will make myself a knight presently. Rise up, Sir John Mortimer. Now have at him. Enter Sir Humphrey Stafford, and his brother with drum and soldiers. Stafford. Rebellious hinds, the filth and scum of Kent. Marked for the gallows, lay your weapons down. Home to your cottages, forsake this groom. The king is merciful if you revolt. Brothers. But angry, wrathful, and inclined to blood. If you go forward, therefore yield or die. Cade. As for these silken-coated slaves, I pass not. It is to you, good people, that I speak, over whom in time to come I hope to reign. For I am rightful heir unto the crown. Stafford. Villain, thy father was a plasterer. And thou thyself a shearman, art thou not? Cade. And Adam was a gardener. Brothers. And what of that? Cade. Marry this, Edmund Mortimer, Earl of March. Married the Duke of Clarence's daughter, did he not? Stafford. Aye, sir. Cade. By her he had 2 children at one birth. Brothers. That's false. Cade. Aye, there's the question, but I say 'tis true. The elder of them, being put to nurse, was by a beggar woman stolen away, and, ignorant of his birth and parentage, became a bricklayer when he came to age. His son am I, deny it if you can. Chapter 599, K. Nay, 'tis too true, therefore he shall be king. Smith. Sir, he made a chimney in my father's house, and the bricks are alive at this day to testify it, therefore deny it not. Stafford. And will you credit this base drudge's words? That speaks he knows not what. Alls. I marry, will we, therefore get ye gone. Brothers. Jack Cade, the Duke of York hath taught you this. Cade. He lies, for I invented it myself. Go to Sirrah, tell the king from me that, for his father's sake, Henry V, in whose time boys went to span counter for French crowns, I am content he shall reign, but I'll be protector over him. Chapter 599, K. And furthermore, we'll have the Lord Say's head for selling the dukedom of Maine. Cade. And good reason, for thereby is England mained and fain to go with a staff, but that my puissance holds it up. Fellow kings, I tell you that that Lord Say hath gelded the Commonwealth and made it an eunuch, and more than that, he can speak French, and therefore he is a traitor. Stafford. O gross and miserable ignorance. Cade. Nay, answer if you can. The Frenchmen are our enemies. Go to then, I ask but this, can he that speaks with the tongue of an enemy be a good counselor, or no? Alls. No, no, and therefore will have his head. Brothers. Well, seeing gentle words will not prevail. Assail them with the army of the king. Stafford. Herald away, and throughout every town. Proclaim them traitors that are up with Cade. That those which fly before the battle ends may, even in their wives' and children's sight, be hanged up, for example, at their doors. And you that be the king's friends, follow me. Exeunt the 2 Staffords and soldiers. Cade. And you that love the commons, follow me. Now show yourselves men, 'tis for liberty. We will not leave one lord, one gentleman. Spare none but such as go in clouded shoon. For they are thrifty honest men and such as would, but that they dare not, take our parts. Chapter 599, K. They are all in order, and march toward us. Cade. But then are we in order when we are most out of order. Come, march forward. Scene 3, another part of Blackheath. Alarums to the fight, wherein both the Staffords are slain. Enter Cade and the rest. Cade. Where's Dick, the butcher of Ashford? Chapter 599, K. Here, sir. Cade. They fell before thee like sheep and oxen, and thou behavedst thyself as if thou hadst been in thine own slaughterhouse. Therefore thus will I reward thee. the Lent shall be as long again as it is, and thou shalt have a license to kill for 100 lacking one. Chapter 599, K. I desire no more. Cade. And to speak truth, thou deservest no less. This monument of the victory will I bear. Chapter 599, K. If we mean to thrive and do good, break open the jails and let out the prisoners. Cade. Fear not that, I warrant thee. Come, let's march towards London. Scene 4, London, the palace. Enter the king with a supplication, and the queen with Suffolk's head, the Duke of Buckingham and the Lord say. Queen Margaret. Oft have I heard that grief softens the mind, and makes it fearful and degenerate. Think therefore on revenge and cease to weep. But who can cease to weep and look on this? Here may his head lie on my throbbing breast. But where's the body that I should embrace? Beusika. What answer makes your grace to the rebel's supplication? King Henry. I'll send some holy bishop to entreat. For God forbid so many simple souls should perish by the sword, and I myself, rather than bloody war shall cut them short. Will parley with Jack Cade their general. But stay, I'll read it over once again. Queen Margaret. Ah, barbarous villains, hath this lovely face ruled like a wandering planet over me. And could it not enforce them to relent? That were unworthy to behold the same. King Henry. Lord say, Jack Cade hath sworn to have thy head. Saye. Ay, but I hope your highness shall have his. King Henry. How now, madam? Still lamenting and mourning for Suffolk's death. I fear me, love, if that I had been dead, thou wouldst not have mourned so much for me. Queen Margaret. No, my love, I should not mourn but die for thee. Enter a messenger. King Henry. How now, what news? Why comest thou in such haste? Messenger. The rebels are in Southwark, fly my lord. Jack Cade proclaims himself Lord Mortimer, descended from the Duke of Clarence's house, and calls your grace usurper openly, and vows to crown himself in Westminster. His army is a ragged multitude of hinds and peasants, rude and merciless. Sir Humphrey Stafford and his brother's death hath given them heart and courage to proceed. All scholars, lawyers, courtiers, gentlemen, they call false caterpillars and intend their death. King Henry. O graceless men, they know not what they do. Beusika. My gracious lord, retire to Killingworth, until a power be raised to put them down. Queen Margaret. Ah, were the Duke of Suffolk now alive, these Kentish rebels would be soon appeased. King Henry. Lord say, the traitors hate thee. Therefore away with us to Killingworth. Saye. So might your grace's person be in danger. The sight of me is odious in their eyes, and therefore in the city will I stay, and live alone as secret as I may. Enter another messenger. Messenger. Jack Cade hath gotten London Bridge. The citizens fly and forsake their houses. The rascal people, thirsting after prey, join with the traitor, and they jointly swear to spoil the city and your royal court. Beusika. Then linger not, my lord, away take horse. King Henry. Come, Margaret, God our hope will succor us. Queen Margaret. My hope is gone, now Suffolk is deceased. King Henry. Farewell, my lord, trust not the Kentish rebels. Beusika. Trust nobody, for fear you be betrayed. Saye. The trust I have is in mine innocence, and therefore am I bold and resolute. Scene 5, London, the Tower. Enter Lord Scales upon the tower, walking, then enter 2 or 3 citizens below. Scales. How now, is Jack Cade slain? One citizen. No, my lord, nor likely to be slain, for they have won the bridge, killing all those that withstand them. The Lord Mayor craves aid of your honor from the tower to defend the city from the rebels. Scales. Such aid as I can spare you shall command. But I am troubled here with them myself. The rebels have essayed to win the tower. But get you to Smithfield and gather head. And thither I will send you. Matthew, go. Fight for your king, your country, and your lives. And so farewell, for I must hence again. Scene 6, London, Cannon Street. Enter Jack Cade and the rest, and strikes his staff on London stone. Cade. Now is Mortimer lord of the city. And here, sitting upon London stone, I charge and command that, of the city's cost, the pissing conduit run nothing but claret wine this first year of our reign. And now henceforward it shall be treason for any that calls me other than Lord Mortimer. Enter a soldier, running. Soldier. Jack Cade, Jack Cade. Cade. Knock him down there. Chapter 599, K. If this fellow be wise, he'll never call ye Jack Cade more. I think he hath a very fair warning. My lord, there's an army gathered together in Smithfield. Cade. Come then, let's go fight with them. But first, go and set London Bridge on fire, and if you can, burn down the tower too. Come, let's away. Scene 7, London, Smithfield. Alarums, Matthew Go is slain and all the rest. Then enter Jack Cade with his company. Cade. So, sirs, now go some and pull down the Savoy, others to Inns of Court, down with them all. Chapter 599, K. I have a suit unto your lordship. Cade. Be it a lordship, thou shalt have it for that word. Chapter 599, K. Only that the laws of England may come out of your mouth. Holland. Mass, 'twill be sore law then, for he was thrust in the mouth with a spear, and 'tis not whole yet. Smith. Nay, John, it will be stinking law, for his breath stinks with eating toasted cheese. Cade. I have thought upon it, it shall be so. Away, burn all the records of the realm. My mouth shall be the Parliament of England. Holland. Then we're like to have biting statutes, unless his teeth be pulled out. Cade. And henceforward, all things shall be in common. Enter a messenger. Messenger. My lord, a prize, a prize. Here's the lord say, which sold the towns in France, he that made us pay 1 15 and 1 shilling to the pound the last subsidy. Enter George Bevis with the lord say. Cade. Well, he shall be beheaded for it 10 times. Ah, thou say, thou surge, nay, thou buckram lord. Now art thou within point blank of our jurisdiction regal. What canst thou answer to my majesty for giving up of Normandy unto Mounsieur Basimecou, the Dauphin of France? Be it known unto thee by these presents, even the presence of Lord Mortimer, that I am the besom that must sweep the court clean of such filth as thou art. Thou hast most traitorously corrupted the youth of the realm in erecting a grammar school. And whereas, before, our forefathers had no other books but the score and the tally, thou hast caused printing to be used. And contrary to the king, his crown and dignity, thou hast built a paper mill. It will be proved to thy face that thou hast men about thee that usually talk of a noun and a verb, and such abominable words as no Christian ear can endure to hear. Thou hast appointed justices of peace, to call poor men before them about matters they were not able to answer. Moreover, thou hast put them in prison, and because they could not read, thou hast hanged them, when indeed only for that cause they have been most worthy to live. Thou dost ride on a footcloth, dost thou not? Saye. What of that? Cade. Marry, thou oughtst not to let thy horse wear a cloak when honester men, than thou go in their hose and doublets. Chapter 599, K. And work in their shirt too, as myself, for example, that am a butcher. Saye. You men of Kent. Chapter 599, K. What say you of Kent? Saye. Nothing but this, tis bonatera mala gens. Cade. Away with him, he speaks Latin. Saye. Hear me but speak, and bear me where you will. Kent, in the commentaries Caesar writ, is termed the civility place of all this isle. Sweet is the country, because full of riches. The people liberal, valiant, active, wealthy. Which makes me hope, you are not void of pity. I sold not Maine, I lost not Normandy. Yet to recover them, would lose my life. Justice with favor have I always done. Prayers and tears have moved me, gifts could never. When have I aught exacted at your hands? Kent to maintain the king, the realm and you. Large gifts have I bestowed on learned clerks. Because my book preferred me to the king. And seeing ignorance is the curse of God. Knowledge the wing wherewith we fly to heaven. Unless you be possessed with devilish spirits. You cannot but forbear to murder me. This tongue hath parleyed unto foreign kings. For your behoofs. Cade. Tut, when struck'st thou one blow in the field. Saye. Great men have reaching hands, oft have I struck. Those that I never saw, and struck them dead. George. O monstrous coward, what to come behind folks? Saye. These cheeks are pale for watching for your good. Cade. Give him a box oth ear, and that will make him red again. Saye. Long sitting to determine poor men's causes. Hath made me full of sickness and diseases. Cade. Ye shall have a hempen caudle then, and the help of hatchet. Chapter 599, K. Why dost thou quiver, man? Saye. The palsy, and not fear, provokes me. Cade. Nay, he nods at us, as who should say, I'll be even with you. I'll see if his head will stand steadier on a pole or no, take him away and behead him. Saye. Tell me, wherein have I offended most? Have I affected wealth or honor? Speak. Are my chests filled up with extorted gold? Is my apparel sumptuous to behold? Whom have I injured, that ye seek my death? These hands are free from guiltless bloodshedding. This breast from harboring foul deceitful thoughts. Oh, let me live. Cade. I feel remorse in myself with his words, but I'll bridle it. He shall die, and it be but for pleading so well for his life. Away with him. He has a familiar under his tongue, he speaks not I God's name. Go, take him away, I say, and strike off his head presently, and then break into his son-in-law's house, Sir James Cromer, and strike off his head, and bring them both upon 2 poles hither. Alls. It shall be done. Saye. Ah, countrymen, if when you make your prayers, God should be so obdurate as yourselves, how would it fare with your departed souls? And therefore yet relent, and save my life. Cade.